Well, welcome back to Spilling the Tea in Studio D. It's just a shame that you guys weren't privy to Candace's technology lesson before we got rolling here today. Man, I would say in a good 27 years, you'll be able to understand all this stuff.
No. Math teacher, remember?
Yeah, how could I forget? Well, we're very appreciative and very fortunate today to have with us soon-to-be employee of the Bryant District. Currently, I guess officially you work for Desi, but you're part of the Dawson family. We'll say it like that.
Yeah, we claim her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dawson.
Oh, no, she may not claim us.
She may not claim us, but we claim her.
But we'll let her introduce herself here in just a second. But again, this is, one of those days, I guess, at the co-op, it reminds you just what it's like to be part of the co-op, right? Mm-hmm. So, big part of a big family, I guess. Right. So, and it also reminds me, good God Almighty, I've got to start hiring more men. So, but anyway, that's another day. So
as long as they're not like you, yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So, well, we're going to get started with this is Jana Catlett. So, Jana, if you'll just jump in there, introduce yourself, and tell us your title and a little bit about yourself. And we always like to ask this question: what brought you to education?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am Jana Catlett. Mm-hmm. I just finished year 30. I guess today is the end of year 30 in education.
Wow.
So. Apparently, I love it.
Yep.
Or stuck in it. Something like that. I absolutely love
She loves it.
Education. I am the English Learner Specialist for the Southwest region of Arkansas. So Dawson is my home, but I also serve the Southwest Co-op in Camden, the South Central Co-op in Camden,
right.
The Southwest Co-op in Hope, and the DeQueen Mena Co-op down there in Gillum between DeQueen and Mena. And I was the first EL specialist for the South when the positions were created 6 years ago, along with my partner Lisa, who had the North. So I had everything south of the river, she had everything north of the river, and then since then we've added to the team. So my region area has shrunken. I don't really know exactly what pivotal moment got me into education. There were a couple of teachers who were really instrumental in my life. I'd say my high school French teacher, Miss Betsy Metter, Madame Metter.
Now, where'd you graduate?
I graduated from Fort Ice. You're looking at most Redbud Pride in 1989 right here.
Wow.
Go Bugs.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
89. 89. That's okay. Hey,
That's
I'm 80.
Yeah.
I'm 85.
Yeah,
So,
1989.
92, so I'm the young one in the bunch.
Yeah, but there's nothing to brag about being on the third string dance team. So just anyway, back to you. Back to you.
So I don't know. I think Miss Metter is really one of those people who, back in my mind, taught me how to be an ESL teacher.
Right.
She knew how to teach language, and that is a big piece of how I do and why I do what I do. And then I had a 7th grade science and nutrition teacher who really taught me a lot, Ruth Ann Harrison. She actually was my dad's teacher growing up as well in Kingsland when he was in Kingsland.
Right.
She was a fantastic teacher, great role model in our church growing up, and just a wonderful lady in the community. But I think my dad was my first teacher. I remember him saying, "Hey, you're 5, time to learn to read."
Wow.
Yeah. He was teaching the science of reading before it was a thing. So
Sure.
I think my parents just really were big proponents of education.
Yeah.
And so my brother's a teacher too. So
Yeah. Wow. Where's he at?
he is an LEA supervisor in Texas.
Oh,
Out of
okay.
Houston.
I got you. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no small districts over there, are there?
No. He's got a big district. He's in Spring or Cypress.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, okay, so now you're getting ready to transition back into a school district.
Yeah.
And what will be your role over there?
I'm going to be the ESL coordinator of Bryant School District. And since I've been in this position, Bryant has grown from about 495 English learners to about 995 English
Wow.
learners.
Wow.
So When I left the classroom, I had about 5 English learners in my class, my homeroom, and now I'm going to about 1,000. So I'm really excited. The program over there is fantastic. A lot of good people supporting it, a lot of good teachers in the classrooms doing what they know is best practice, and I've been working with them for a while, and so I hope that it's just going to be a smooth transition. It's going to be a good fit.
Well, we've told them that, Bryant's getting a great one for sure.
I'm excited.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Great one.
and no doubt. And it, having worked and or trained those folks over there, I mean, that in my mind, that's going to be a pretty good transition. It's going to be better than your normal switching of districts or whatever. You're familiar, maybe not with the territory, but with the people for sure.
Oh, the territory is huge. I really need a map. Somebody's gonna have to give me like an aerial look. I still can't get my names with my spots, and I've been to almost every building before, but not as the driver, and so I need to just go over there and drive around before I get on contract,
Right.
figure it all out.
So where, I don't know if I ever asked you this, but what was your first teaching position?
My very first teaching position was in Pulaski County Special School District. I taught second grade at Fuller Elementary over on Dixon Road by the county office, which is no longer a school anymore. It was right before you get to Mills University High. And I spent 1 year there, and then an inter-district school was built, William Jefferson Clinton Elementary in Sherwood. And a lot of people transferred there, and so there were a lot of positions all over the district, and I got transferred to Biomito Elementary, which is way north in the county, just outside of Jacksonville where we lived. And so I moved there to 5th grade, and I cried for 2 days because I thought, I can't do big kids. I don't know what to do with them. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Loved it.
Right.
And so then we were in Jacksonville for 8 years, and then we moved to Lake Hamilton, and we've been in the Lake Hamilton community for 22 years now.
Right.
Wow.
And
Husband's an educator.
right, yeah, your husband.
Yes, my husband's principal at Lake Hamilton Elementary. He's got about a little under 700 second and third graders.
So is he right there with you 30 years, give or
He
take?
is. We're both 30 years in, and both our
That's
kids
awesome.
are 13-year seniors at Lake Hamilton, and so
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great district, no doubt. I mean, again, Dawson district got to be.
that's right, Dawson
Yeah.
District. Can't beat it.
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier. You just need to go ahead and tell all those other co-ops you've worked with now which one's the best. they can't throw stones at you now.
I can tell you, I've never eaten at any of those other districts like I ate today at lunch. So
Oh my
That's
gosh,
true.
that was so good. And
Yeah.
Darren's wife can cook.
I'm telling you,
but
oh.
yeah, duh. Look
I
at
mean,
me. Yeah. Pillsbury Doughboy.
She
over there, yeah.
can cook. My goodness.
But, being husband and wife and in the business together, what's that been like? I mean, my wife works in a district, but she's in the professional or business side of things. So there are some nights we go home and we're like, hey, no more school talk.
No
you know?
school. Yeah, well, I would say one of the great things about it is you have the best schedule for raising a family.
Absolutely.
That you can
Yeah.
get. There's
Yeah.
not another a better schedule out there for raising a family. It has its ups and downs. I mean, we've been through teacher strikes together where we thought
Oh,
we were
wow.
going to work.
Yeah.
And then went on strike, and the superintendent just shut school for a couple of weeks, and we had a brand new
Wow.
baby, didn't know what we were going to do. We've gone through the high price of insurance together,
Yeah.
and so those kinds of things, you weather those storms.
Sure.
His mother was a high school teacher for years, and so we had that extra added benefit of getting to have family vacations together because she
Yeah.
also was on that schedule. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh, wow.
been really nice. The perks of having our kids in the same place with us has
Right.
always been nice, knowing where we are, that we're all together in an emergency, in bad weather, has always been really comforting. There are a lot of things you think you don't get.
Right.
You don't have blessings or whatever as an educator, but the benefits, I think, far outweigh
100.
Oh, yeah.
all the things that people
I
can
agree.
complain about.
Yep.
I was thinking about this driving in this morning. First of all, we probably need to tell exactly what ESOL is. We are notorious in education for all the acronyms.
Oh, yeah.
But in my mind, I was thinking back on it. How long has that program? I mean, been around. I know it's been called other things, but like I graduated high school in '85. There wasn't nothing like that out there.
Right. So, well, there are a lot of words that people put with it and all the acronyms and all the things. So ESOL is English to Speakers of Other Languages. When a kid goes to the classroom, he often says he's going to ESL, which is English as a second language, because in past years, really it probably was his second language.
Right.
Now, a lot of kids are coming either extremely highly educated. They're coming as foreign exchange students. They've got 2 or 3 languages under their belt, so it's really not their second language. That's where the O
Right.
comes from.
Gotcha.
Or we're getting students from remote places where their first language is a language that's newly discovered, or it's
Right.
a language that is so far removed from a language that is well known that we're having to use a language in the middle to actually
Right.
help translate or interpret. So we're really that O fits there. So our students, we say they are ESL students, or they are EL students. They're English learners. Or they're ELLs, English language learners. Some states have even moved, I'll give you another one.
Right.
Some states have even moved to MLs, multilingual learners. Arkansas is using EL, English learners.
So, you talk about you've got kids from coming in honestly from all over. How do you navigate that? And I mean, when they're all sitting in the same room together.
Well, have you ever been on a vacation and not known the language? I mean, a lot of people go, well, yeah, I have. I've stepped off a cruise ship or I've gotten somewhere and nobody knew what I wanted. But you could instantly order a Coke or find the restroom or whatever without the language. And if you can do the opposite for those students,
Right.
then you've got it made.
Okay.
So if everybody walks into my classroom and nobody knows what the quadratic formula is, right? So you're teaching everybody what the quadratic formula is. If I've got to do something different, act it out, show pictures, model it, that's best practice for everybody. So that's what I have to do for my English learners, and then offer them those extra supports a little bit more slowly. I always bring my coaches in here because coaches get a bad rap sometimes in professional learning.
Yeah.
But coaches are the best at working with our English learners. No coach worth any amount of money or any championship teaches a kid how to shoot a free throw sitting down
Right.
or with a book. A coach gets up and models how to shoot a free throw.
Right.
So I've got to get up and model what kinetic energy looks like, what potential energy looks like. And if I'm modeling that, showing that, demonstrating that, no matter what my language is, then I can teach that.
I was even thinking back whenever I started teaching, Google Translator was never a thing. That wasn't
No.
invented, so I
Did
feel
you
like,
just compare her job to Google Translator?
No,
Oh,
no,
my
I'm
Lord.
saying, what I'm saying
The
is,
change is that-
she knows what I'm talking about.
Listen.
No, what I'm saying is, like, if as a teacher, I could have used that as a tool.
Yes,
Like,
and there are
a lot of the
many
things
free
that-
apps out there now that
Right.
we can get
That-
just
yeah,
in the
there.
case of emergency, and that we can get in a hurry. I've
Right.
got this one favorite free app I use in the grocery store all the time to help people who bring their kids to the grocery store who they think are going to be able to help them, but honestly, their kids only English at school.
Right.
They can
Right.
only use their English language to do math or to do
Right.
social studies.
Right.
They don't know what a kumquat is.
Yeah.
Right. I don't either.
I don't either. But they certainly don't. They don't know what a cucumber is.
But I mean,
or anything.
Right.
I would think that those tools, like the teachers, because we didn't, we started.
And no,
we didn't
and
have.
that's
a
been
lot
one of the
that.
biggest. That's been one of the biggest
advantages. maybe?
advances in technology that I saw during COVID.
Yeah.
Was our tools like that.
Sure.
Who could help students who do have that language barrier because the affect that we lost through Zoom and
Yeah.
not being able to be in front of people. We had to make up for with translator tools and things like that. So our translator
Yeah.
tools have gotten much better. Even Google Translate, that we would tell people don't send home notes that you've just thrown through Google Translator.
Right.
Even that has improved
Sure.
in the past year and a half
right.
or so.
Well, and I just think about, just me trying to learn another language. I just can't imagine. It's just so difficult. And
It is.
so I always was just like,
Well, and having to do that side by side, having to learn algebra and English,
And-
having to learn to
yes.
read and learn English side by side. We can't wait on our students to be fully English proficient and then teach them that. My
Right.
joke is if you do that, you're going to have 25-year-old kids in
Sure.
high school geometry. We can't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And it's so funny because the model used to be, hey, we're going to take these, English-speaking kids and teach them Spanish, and so the model's kind of reversed, I guess, in lots of ways. But we've got more kids from other countries now more than ever.
I just did my research on Bryant, and in the 21-22 school year, they have 38 other languages besides
Wow.
English represented in their school district.
So what is the most prominent, would you say?
Spanish.
Spanish.
Spanish is the most prominent statewide, and then our next highest besides English is Marshallese.
Marshallese, yeah. I know that, yeah. Big influence or influx of that in Northwest Arkansas.
Yes, and then a huge group, a huge population of Marshallese families have moved to Northeast Arkansas and then down Southwest into Queen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It fascinates me too, just everybody speaking the different languages, it's just cool.
It is. It's so much fun for me to listen and try to
Yeah.
determine what people are saying by watching their body language and listen to the inflection, see if it's an argument, see if it's a happy conversation, and then think, that's what people are doing to me all day long in my class. The way I am acting is, giving off signals to them.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, I can see where that, once you put it, like that, you're trying to get in the middle of them and immerse yourself into a language you don't know. It is frustrating. So it's got to be for, got to be for the students, because a lot of times, it's been my experience, it's the native language that's spoken in the home.
That's it. And we work so hard all day long to get our students to learn something, and then we send them home. And then the people at home are intelligent, loving, hardworking people who don't speak English.
Right.
And so everything that the student has practiced all day gets put by the wayside because they have an identity at home with people who let their brain relax from all the language and the content they've been trying to work on all day. And so they go back to that home language, and so they practice that, and then they come back the next day. And of course, they're not going to remember the quadratic formula. That's been last on their mind all
Right.
night.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, when it goes to, and again, when there is a new language perhaps that you're not familiar with, and I know you said there's lots of online stuff, that kind of stuff, but how important is the network of people in a similar position to you?
The network is so important. There just aren't so many of us. School districts just don't have very many of us.
Right.
Often in a district where there aren't so many students, like Bryant, in the Dawson area, Bryant has the largest population of English learners.
Right.
So let's take a small school like Poen, where there aren't nearly that many. There aren't even double-digit numbers. So the person in charge of the English learners also has another job.
Right.
In many of our schools. In most of our schools in Arkansas, the person's doing double duty. So the network for all of us, the people who support me, the people who support the person in Arkadelphia, the person in Poen, the person in El Dorado, the person anywhere, we have to be so strong. And so those monthly and quarterly and twice a year meetings that we have are so important. That listserv that we have are vital to make sure that the information for the latest rules, laws, regulations are out there, but that we have those people we can go to and say, hey, how do I do this again? I haven't had a new one come in so long, making sure that we do things right and what's best for our students.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've always found fascinating, for the most part, those kids, they're excited about learning.
Yeah, and when you're the new kid at school, doesn't everybody give you all the attention anyway? And so to have to get that attention, to have all the kids on your side, and then to have a teacher who's so willing to help you and ready to do everything that it takes to help you learn the language, that social language so you can survive, so you can find the cafeteria, so you know how to get to the restroom, and so you get on the right bus.
Right.
And then to help you make the grade so that one day maybe you'll graduate with the seal of biliteracy and be employable. That's huge, and it's really good for you as a student because your family's at home counting on you, or, you know, God forbid you came here by yourself and you are the only person counting on you. It's a lot. So the school is the community in so many ways for these kids, because that may be the only place that there is someone to speak English for them, and we have to be that. So not just the day-to-day, 8:30 to 3:30, but that network of the school nurse, the school, the family liaison, the McKinney-Vento liaison, if that's necessary, your Title III coordinator, if you've got, if you're a Title III district, all of that surround support services that student may qualify for come into play. So always just the ESL coordinator, you've got all these other avenues that you have to tap into to make sure that student gets supported the way he needs.
Yeah, and again, that's, those wraparounds are so important because, again, when those kids leave school, no idea what they're walking into.
No. And then, you think, oh gosh, he's a kindergartner, he doesn't have any English, and he's got to meet that third grade reading deadline. So I've got to do all these things, and all the conditions have to be just right, because that's if conditions are just right benchmark. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll move on here in just a second, but I know you haven't always taught this, right? So what was kind of your teaching history?
Well, I was a second grade teacher, so all the core content was mine. And then when I moved to Lake Hamilton, I started in literacy, and then I don't know if it's called pioneer or punishment. I was the first fifth grade group to become a 3-man team.
Right.
So then I went from literacy to science and social studies at one point. And then one year we needed a split 4-5. So I did that. So I got all of them again. And then one year, we had 13 teachers, and I went, oh, I'll do that. I'll teach all 4 cores again. And so I didn't have a team, and that's where I ended.
Right.
And so my classes kept small because then I did have the ESL license, and so I was the lowest level of proficiency classroom, and so all the students who had the level 1 and level 2 speaking abilities, writing abilities, or proficiency, they came into my classroom, so I could shelter them a little more.
Okay.
Awesome.
So another big thing that you've been a huge part of, and I think honestly from the inception, is the ESOL Academy that goes on here. I hope I'm saying that right, but I think it is right. And that's been in existence
just tell him he's
now.
wrong, just so he can be. So we can say
Well,
he's wrong.
we have
COVID.
changed the name.
Yeah.
Since we brought it back, the state brought it back in 2017 or 2008, summer of 2018, I believe, when they renamed it the Institute. So we call it ESOL Institute now, but it's the same.
Yeah.
It's what it used to be. That's my favorite week of the year. I love it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'll let you tell about it, but man, it's an intense week.
It's an extreme intense week, and it's gone through so many different versions. When
Right.
I went through it, it was, I think, 12 days, 10 days of 12, 14-hour days. Over at Henderson, we ate in the cafeteria 3 days a week. 3 meals a day, and we spent the night in the dorms, the works. Now we do it here, thanks to Dawson as a cooperative effort. Not all of the institutes in the state do it that way. So I think we're really fortunate here, and everybody who comes to ours says that. They really love Dawson, and so it's not just Dawson exclusive, which is really nice. We get that outreach. So that's a big deal.
But y'all do 6 days, don't you?
We do. It's a 10-day event. It's 100 hours requirement of seat time from the state. So we do 6 days here, Monday through Saturday, and then we do 4 days virtually, 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring. And through that, the students are enrolled, the participants are enrolled in 2 graduate courses in the fall and 2 graduate courses in the spring. And so they end up with 12 hours graduate credit with a requirement to take the praxis, the ESL praxis, and pass that. So they add ESL to their license. And there have been different models of that since we started. One, they paid for it. currently it's free. One, there was professional development
Right.
awarded. Now it's all graduate, which is really nice. So we're cranking them out. There's
Yeah,
lots
well,
of
and,
people with
and,
license.
and to me, that's a great way to do that,
It is.
to educate
Yeah.
the masses and get, these kids the help that they need.
It really is. It's almost, for me, when I went through it, it was like revival. I did not know how I was going to add, what I was going to do with a graduate degree. And Kevin and I made a promise when we got engaged to his parents. It was an agreement. When we got engaged, we were sophomores in college, and we were told, we will pay for your master's degrees if you will wait until you graduate college to get married. And we said, deal. Well, he knew he wanted to be a principal, so it was graduate, enroll straight right off the
Right.
bat. Well, I only knew there were two things to do: be a counselor. Can't see that. Can you?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get struck by lightning. Or a principal, and I was not
Yeah.
doing that. I
Right.
was not doing that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really know what to do. And then when I got that opportunity to go to the ESL Academy at the time, it was really like run down to the front, holy roller, come to Jesus
Yeah.
kind of event for
It's
me.
like, oh, this
Right.
was
This
meant
was
for
my
me. Yeah,
jam.
that's so
Yeah.
cool.
And so it was 12 hours. Well, that was a third of a master's degree. So I went back, got my curriculum and instruction master's degree with an emphasis in ESL, and I was on fire. And it started everything for
That's
me.
awesome.
Well, and the thing I like about it is as intense as it is. You want to get that? Your phone's ringing. I didn't know if you wanted to, so, but
It's my daughter. I better not answer it
yeah.
if she finds
Yeah.
out she's talking on the podcast.
yeah,
I
that's
will be-
true.
I'll be in major
put her on
trouble.
speaker.
Yeah.
But the thing, as intense as it is, I mean, y'all do it in such a way that it's just like anybody else. You have a good time learning, and once you're able to incorporate fun into the learning, I mean, that's half the battle.
That it really is, and that's with intention. That's the model that we expect them to take back and share with their students, because at the end they realize how much they've learned, and that's the point.
Right.
If you can do it, then so can your students in
Right.
this way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I got an email yesterday from a principal who he's a new principal in his building, and he wrote and he just said, "I cannot wait. I'm on fire. I've got all these ideas that I'm going to take back, and we're going to do
Right.
all of this here.
Aw.
I'm so excited."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
And speaking of fun, though, you had an institute first this year.
Yeah, we've got to talk about this.
How about that?
okay, I cannot share names, but
Right.
No names,
We'll
is-
protect the
listen.
innocent.
So
This is the best
I
thing
think it was
ever.
Tuesday, but I said, "Good things. Who wants to share a good thing?" And I got my son got a promotion. My dog is feeling better. I found a parking place close. All these things, and somebody said, "I'm getting married this week," and I said, "Excuse me." Well, you have to come on Saturday, right? Oh yeah, we're just gonna walk down to the courthouse. Okay, I said, well, you know what? I'll cater your reception, because we were having Bubba's Catfish
Right,
on Friday. I
right.
thought that's a great.
Yeah.
Invite him to lunch. He can come with us. And she said, "Oh, that'd be great. He'd love it." Ha ha. Jokes. I said, "Better yet, anybody in here ordained?" Well, this teacher says, "I am." I said, "I'll cater reception and host your wedding."
During lunch.
Yeah, and she's like, "Okay." So she got her license. The groom came. The
Ordained
minister
person. Yeah.
guy, the ordained fella. It was Spirit Day, so we all had on our school T-shirts. He changed into a really nice outfit. We all went through the line, got our catfish. Somebody said, "We can't have a wedding without music." He started with nice, slow, appropriate wedding music. Then they had a first dance.
Oh, wow.
Then after
so
that, he
awesome.
said, "This is a wedding. Let's party." We were doing the cha-cha slide.
Yeah.
We did the whole thing. We had cake. We had punch. She had a bouquet.
Yeah.
And then back to business as usual.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she was there on Saturday doing like she was
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Lunch, wedding, and then hey,
Back to
I
the
think-
normal grind.
when whoever texts, I was just
It
like,
was-
I was just like, this is the most awesome thing I've
Yeah.
ever
My
heard.
little secret
Yeah.
alter ego of wedding planner is so
Yeah.
satisfied. cried.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, only Jana
I was
could pull this off.
Yeah,
Only
well,
Jana.
well, everybody was happy. I mean,
No, but I'm saying
from what I'm
only
saying.
Jana
Yeah,
is
yeah,
gonna be like,
yeah.
anybody ordained in here? I mean, you
There
know.
were only about 40 mamas and meemaws and whatever in there. I don't know how many photos we have of this
Right.
in our little photo album in our Google Drive.
Yeah, and they're like, don't post it.
Yeah. We were like, what? But we're so proud.
yeah, yeah.
We're just secretly proud.
And listen, they're going to remember that forever. That
Oh,
is the
for
coolest
sure.
thing.
Right.
That's the
Right.
coolest thing ever.
That's what she said. I had no idea I'd have so many pictures and such excitement.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that is
No,
so
that's going to be a story
sweet.
for the
Family,
grandkids.
yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, it will be. That is so cool. That's top. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
start
like,
saying that's got to be the number one. I mean, I'm rolling into year 8 here, and
Yeah.
for sure, that's
That's
top,
pretty cool.
Solid top 3. I'll say.
Oh,
that,
yeah, for
you know.
sure.
Yeah, I mean,
So, well, hey,
Oh, my.
congratulations to the happy couple.
I know.
So if you need a wedding planner, folks,
Call me.
call
That's right.
Jana.
Exactly.
This-
That's
this
right.
on the side,
Well,
Love
a lot of times we like to get to know our guests too on a personal level.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk about her new sweet grandbaby, which he's,
Oh, yeah.
what, 14, 15,
Yes.
15 months. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we saw him, got to see him at lunch. Who did he let hold him?
I,
Not Darren.
Jana.
That
yeah.
was me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew.
I didn't
well,
even ask him.
Yeah, I
He
intimidate
reached
kids.
for you.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Reached up for you.
I know. Darren's jealous.
Yeah, you know what that says?
It says I'm the nice one.
No, it says you look more like a grandparent than I do. That's exactly what that says.
You
That's
keep
what
thinking
I'm
that.
taking away from that.
Keep thinking that.
That's what I'm taking away from that story. So let's see. So I know, like you say, you are energy all the time, and that's one of the things I do
Love it.
appreciate about having you around. Always smiling, and even if something goes wrong, just like yesterday, you said, "Hey, Michael, my internet's down." So,
Monitor and adjust, yeah.
exactly. So musically, when you're making the drive from Lake Hamilton all the way to Dawson, what are you listening to? What's on your playlist?
Well, right now I'm listening to a book. I've gotten into Hoopla, which is a free app through the Garland County Library or through your local library.
Yeah.
But musically, I'm a big Kenny Chesney and Chris Stapleton fan.
Okay.
But I like all genres. But yesterday I was listening to Spotify Chris Stapleton in my office. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he's top on my list right
It's
now.
pretty good.
Yeah, he's really good. So, I'm trying to think here too. I'm almost afraid to ask you what your most embarrassing moment's been in teaching.
Well, she's thinking about that. You do look, you're a big baseball fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm such a big baseball fan. Last night I watched the LSU championship celebration back home.
Mm-hmm.
It was so neat for them. I was
Yeah.
kind of bitter it wasn't us, but it was really neat for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what my most embarrassing,
Or any. It doesn't
I
have to be
haven't
your
had one
most
of those like
embarrassing.
where you like say a curse word in front of kids or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did we ever talk about yours? I think we did.
Did you
Oh,
guys-
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's when you had on your white breeches or light breeches and sat
Oh,
down.
yeah. Set in a bunch of chocolate.
Oh, that's
Had to go. We did talk about that one. Then
Yeah.
there's like, then
Yeah.
there. I've had many because
Yeah.
just stuff happens to me,
Yeah.
Jana.
I did
Think
one of
something.
those cultural faux pas things. That's really good for an ESL
Yeah.
teacher. I mean, I don't know that it was, well, yeah, okay. So, you got a model for your kids so they
Right.
really know.
Yeah.
So I was a science teacher, and
Yeah.
the 4 chambers of the heart for mammals are very consistent.
Right.
So, where we live out there in Piercy, all
Sure.
those boys are deer hunters, girls are deer hunters, so they would always bring in their deer hearts. Well, they did. And so I had my big butcher knife and I was cutting it up. Well, my friend Dawn brought in the delegation from Japan. Well, I'm saying deer, this is a deer heart. And their interpreter's telling them this is a deer heart. Well, they're from Hanamaki, which is Hot Springs' sister city. And Hanamaki, the major cultural no-no, of course, is to kill the deer. They've got this Japanese deer,
Oh, wow.
the Sika, and it's a big, they do the deer dance, and he's a big cultural icon, and the whole thing. And I've got his heart displayed
Yeah.
right here. And
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
of course, my kids have their textbooks open to this diagram, and everybody's fascinated. And the big one's the aorta, and they're sticking their thumb through the
Yeah.
aorta, and we've got blood
Yeah.
everywhere, and gloves and goggles. And their teachers are just white. They're just against the wall in the back. And the interpreter is fascinated, and he's just all into it. He's trying to interpret, but he can't stop looking. And the kids are their sleeves rolled up.
They're all about it. Yeah.
My kids are rolling. And Dawn Shin, she was our ESL coordinator at the time. She is on the floor, just tickled beyond measure.
Right.
Because you had no idea.
Yes, and the teachers are just, I mean, they're about sick. My room smells exactly how you think it smells. And
Right.
It's, you know, I've done it for all 3 periods of the day. And
Oh, my God.
And here they are thinking.
And you're like, whoops.
Yeah.
yeah, oh, well, they learned about it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Pretty good.
So
a good one.
if you could do anything besides what you're doing, and I know it's easy to say I wouldn't want to, but I think you kind of revealed part of that, but
Well,
Yeah, wedding planner. No.
well,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
well, I always joke and say that when I grow up, I'm going to have a coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be for adults only. I know that's kind of contrary, but it's going to be called, are y'all ready for this? Stand Your Grounds.
Ah.
Grounds. It's going to be one
Somebody's
of those
gonna
where
steal
the,
that.
It's going to be, I know. One of those where the waitresses are mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can be grouchy all day.
Yeah, gotcha.
And that's why it's going to be for
You're
18
never-
and
Hey,
up.
sign me up.
Yeah.
You're hired.
Exactly.
You could,
See
yeah,
that?
you could never
Oh, yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
I'll just sit in the
exactly.
back and read all day.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
be the
He could be the grouchy
you
one.
can
yeah.
be the coffee maker.
Yeah,
person.
Wait a minute, what do you
Jenna
mean?
was like, "Gosh, Darren's like being
Hey.
so mean to me." I was
What do
like,
you
"Yeah,
mean?
that just means he loves you."
Well, hey, what do you mean can be? I am, right?
And I only want adults, like,
Yeah.
because I want to be mean. I don't want little teeny bumpers
Yeah.
hanging
She
out like
wants
at
to be
Starbucks.
mean.
I just
Yeah.
want to be mean and
You're
grouchy.
never
Come and have
mean.
coffee if you want. Don't. Even
That's
I
right.
don't
If it's
care.
warm, that's okay. If not,
Yeah,
move
whatever.
on. Next
Yeah,
guy.
that's all I-
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So through the 30 years, I mean, you've seen lots of changes, right? So what advice would you give to a brand new teacher that's coming in, looking at our profession with all the ups and downs, in and outs? What would be a one true north that you would share with a first year teacher?
You know, Susan asked that at lunch, and I didn't have anything, but it's the one thing that I always say. It's the reason I got into education. I did not get into education to raise test scores.
Right.
I got into education to raise people.
Right.
Yep.
And I think if you look at every single thing you do through the lens of how it's going to affect the children in the building,
Right.
then I think if that's your lens and that's your filter, then you're doing the right thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think all that ancillary stuff will take its course.
Yeah, it
You know,
does.
there's no doubt about that.
Right.
So,
It's my life motto. It's not about me.
right.
Yeah.
It's about them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it, actually, if you had noticed, it's all about Candace, but I'm just saying.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
If by sometimes you mean
Yeah.
24/7, they, you know.
That's why it's called Studio D, not for
Yeah.
Candace,
Yeah.
for Darren. Studio
Hey,
Darren.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for that. Well,
Yeah.
matter of fact, I think.
He can't stand it because we tell him he's the extra one,
Yeah,
Jana, but he
hey.
is extra.
But here's what I asked them: am I truly that extra?
Yes.
Or are they just that basic?
I'm
That's
basic.
you know.
I'm
see.
definitely basic.
So it's, I mean, that's something to think
but
about.
you're definitely
That
extra.
is.
So-
It's all relative.
right.
It's just relative.
Hey, you
So
only,
you go in another 10, 20 years, you don't even. Yeah.
Are you asking me or Kevin?
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot Kevin was here. We could have drug him into the podcast.
Yeah.
He would have
Probably
probably been
should
like,
have.
no.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no.
Yeah. Well, you know, at the end of the day, though, I agree with you. I mean, if you show up at work and really focus on why you're there, again, all that other stuff's going to take care of itself. You know, as a person once told me, they said, you know, if you want to get at the heart of education, you got to educate the heart.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's good.
and so there's
Well,
lots and lots of truth in that.
And we've talked about this before, but even in my life, there's just so many things that God has just allowed people and kids to cross the path, and then they cross, you know, on down the road, and it's like no doubt, you know, people that have been there for me to grow, and also people that I've been able to help, and it's you just have to be open to that and allow that to happen.
Something happened to me Monday. I was helping Susan with that science assessment session, and I went over Monday at lunch, and I was filling up my water bottle before we started, and a teacher came up, and, you know, I was there kind of, I felt like in a teacher capacity, And she came up to me and she called me by name, and she asked how my kids were by name. And suddenly, the teacher in me became a mama.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's a good teacher.
Right.
She is a good teacher. When she can turn me into a proud mama, then she's a good teacher. Because my kids are 27 and 23.
Right.
She totally...
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
She totally went way back, called them by name, made a joke. Nobody in your family's in a cast right now, right? Good for y'all. Then asked about my grandson.
Yeah.
I mean, she went way back. She had him in 8th grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so that's a good teacher. She went back to, the heart, like you
Right.
said.
Yeah.
She was placed there in their lives at the right time for the right reason.
Yep.
And
Yep. And that's why I say,
Yeah.
we're going to miss you like crazy, but, there's a reason that you're going to be at Bryant and for a certain
That's right.
person, kid. And anyway, so it'll be awesome.
So, answer me this. What was the first thing you threw away when you got ready to start packing up?
That is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to be like, nothing. I'm not a pack rat, so I would have.
I'm a terrible pack rat. Y'all are so glad I threw some things away.
Oh. What did you throw
did
away?
I throw away?
I mean, you know that one piece of something you pick up and go, why in the heck have I held on to this or keep this or whatever?
Well, I threw away some little junk things that I got at several different little,
Like
trade
vendor things.
Yeah.
vendor things.
Yeah.
Like some little notebooks that I thought, those are great, and I never wrote in them.
Yeah.
I threw away several of those.
Yeah.
You don't need those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can only have too many or so many of those and stress balls and
Yeah, I
that kind
threw
of
away
stuff.
some of those. That was
Yeah.
the first thing.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty good question.
Yeah.
that is a good
Okay.
question.
Well, we're about to wrap this dog up, it looks like. We appreciate you coming in. And as much as it pains me to say, good luck in the future.
I know.
Good luck in the future.
Yes.
No,
Thank you.
we're there for you, girl.
Oh, yeah.
We got you.
We
so.
got you.
I know I'll be calling when I need you.
Well, and what I say, and truly, you know what you do and how you approach it. I mean, you don't see that a lot. And I guarantee you, in what you do, patience has got to be a big part of the equation. So I appreciate that part about you, too. So if you could just teach me some of that around Candace some days, man, I
How
would
do
be.
you do it?
I know. See? I know. How do
Yeah.
I do it? It's
Yeah,
just-
I know.
it's just
It's
a lot of
tough.
prayer. It's a lot. It's a
Well,
lot of prayer.
That's going to be my second book. It's
Poor
called-
Tanya. That's going to be
it's
my
gonna- it's
book.
go- it's
It's
gonna
going
be-
to say Poor Tanya.
The second one will be Walking with Excellence. So it'll be good. So. But anyway, hey, we do appreciate you. Wish you luck. And
Yes.
we know you're going to go out there and
Oh
do
my
great
gosh, you're
things.
going to
Thank
rock
you.
it. You're
For
going to
sure.
be great.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
All right, String Bean, you got anything
Yeah.
before we roll out of here?
No, Grandpa. Let's
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D.
String bean.